So today in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report Behind the Curtain series debut, we're going to be talking about Zack Sabre JR, who's ready to claim the IWGP World title, and he made it known this past Sunday when he defeated Bryan Danielson and whatnot. Also, we're going to be talking about Scott D'Amore's dismissal reveal. We're going to tell you what really happened, why he was let go, and maybe he took Anthem for granted a little bit, thinking that he would be able to get what he wanted. So we're going to be talking about that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, brand new behind the curtain series debut.
Is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to the debut of Behind the Curtain, courtesy of no other than the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. This will be a weekly series that I've been doing on audio, but I will explain to you, why I'm doing it through YouTube and whatnot. So let's start off with the Zack Sabre Jr. situation. Zack Sabre Jr. made it clear that he is going after the IWGP World title. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. has been in New Japan for God knows how long. The man, he has done everything, to be honest. He's won the New Japan Cup. He's been in plenty of G1 climax tournaments, came close to winning it. He took Naito at one point by himself and whatnot. So the guy has done everything in New Japan. He was the first New Japan TV World Champion. He won the IWGP Tag Team Champion. He's won the British Rep Pro title. He's won that thing. I think he won the Never Open World belt. I'm not sure yet, but he has done everything. And right now, Tetsuya Naito is the IWGP World Champion. And Naito has had problems with Zack Sabre Jr. in regular matches and tournaments. He always gave Naito a hard time. Now, Naito's walking around with his belt. He beat Sonata at Wrestle Kingdom. And now it looks like Zack Sabre Jr. has his eye on the IWGP World title. The crazy part is that he just beat Bryan Danielson. There will be a third match, don't know where, but there will be a third match. And Bryan Danielson gave, the props, the roses to Zack Sabre Jr. And he told him he's not that kid. He's a man now. His match with Bryan Danielson this past Sunday was a technical wrestling match. It could have went either way. But Zack Sabre Jr., like I always said, Zack Sabre Jr. is a beast in that ring. And when that guy grabs you in a submission move, he only holds the one submission move every 6 seconds. Every 6 seconds, he changes it around. And for those who have not seen Zack Sabre Jr. in that ring, you're missing out. Especially if you watch New Japan and he's in that card, take a look at the finesse, everything this man does in that ring and whatnot. So he already made it clear. He is coming after, the IWGP title. He said, I will win the IWGP World title and change the entire wrestling landscape. Now, this is coming from Fightful Select. Zack Sabre Jr. says he'll be staying with NJPW and redefining the concept of what professional wrestling can be. At New Japan Pro Wrestling, the New Beginnings in Osaka, Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Bryan Danielson in a rematch of their clash at AEW Wrestle Dream. Sabre Jr. scored the win over Danielson via pinfall. In the backstage comments, Zack Sabre Jr. discussed his win against Danielson. He reflected on their history before he knew that while Danielson and others went on to become millionaires, he would stay with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Sabre vows to win the world title and change the landscape of professional wrestling. He said, from that first match with Brian, my career took off, and I haven't looked back once. Then Brian decided to do one better. He went to the largest professional wrestling company in the world that refused to call what we do professional wrestling. Of course, he is talking about WWE. But Brian, through every obstacle, became the most important wrestler in the entire world and the entire industry. He is indebted to everything he's done. And that time, Brian went to work for the largest wrestling company in the world. And before a millionaire, I turned down every single offer from every major company because I believe in something different. I dedicated my entire adult life since 14 to a vision of pro wrestling that I haven't even started to complete. I'll dedicate the rest of my life to the sport. I expect no thanks, no adulation from it. One day I'll disappear and you'll never hear from me again. But until that day, every single day, you'll find me in New Japan Pro Wrestling, changing the concept of what professional wrestling can be. While doing that, while every other fucker goes off to be a millionaire, I'm staying. Probably through stupidity, probably in part because I don't believe in capitalism. Money's of no interest to me. Professional wrestling is. In 2024, I'm going to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I'm going to change the entire professional wrestling landscape. Now, with that being said and whatnot, I can't see you people who are commenting and whatnot, but I appreciate you guys being here. Somebody thought he shouldn't get the global. He should get the global first, then go after the world title. Give it another year and a half. Yeah, I mean he should, but that's a problem with the global. I'm glad you brought that up because the global and the world. I think that's what New Japan kind of messed up there. Whether you got the global world champion, which is David Finlay, and then you got Naito with the world title. So if it's global and it's world, it'll make sense. It's the same thing. So I understand what you're saying. I think he should get the global. I think he'll probably be the guy who could beat David Finlay. But David Finlay right now, he's going to be the hottest heel right now with all that landscape changing in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I think Zack Sabre Jr. will be the Will Ospreay. And if you want to think, I mean, he doesn't wrestle like Will Ospreay, but the guy is a technical wrestler at, the man's a master at this. You know what I'm saying? So, that could be a lot of problems to a lot of wrestlers and a lot of champions because Zack Sabre Jr., he could take punishment. He could take it to the limit just when you think you got him, you don't. The guy is like, you get him in a chokehold, he'll find his way out of it, and he'll have you in some armbar and whatnot. The guy's a master at this. You can't ask for anything better than that. So, I am very looking forward for him to at least become the global champion and whatnot. So, what's up to everybody who's here right now? I appreciate it. I can't, for some unknown reason, I cannot see your name on the comment. So, I don't know why, but I did put the link. So, but the global title, he should be getting that first. And that never open weight title also, that belt needs to be cleaned up and or either get rid of it because the never open weight title that right now, even Evil went and spray painted it black, which they don't got no respect for those belts. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting seeing, especially Zack Sabre Jr. being part of the TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel. And let me say, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols, those guys are very good at what they do. They still haven't got a chance to win those IWGP Tag Team Champions, but anything can happen. Anything can happen in the wrestling world and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll keep looking at this and see what happens. Another story that I want to bring up is definitely the story of Scott D'Amore, where fired after he had more budget to bring in more talent. As of last Wednesday, a week ago, the word was that the man, he got let go for no apparent reason. Nobody knew what was going on. Again, I'm going to bring this up. Scott D'Amore did a lot for TNA. TNA wrestling nobody was watching it. Nobody gave a rat's ass about it. They have burned bridges with New Japan Pro Wrestling because of the Okada situation back in 2008 when Okada was a young lion, and when he was an excursion in TNA, and they put him in this role where he was like the Green Hornet for Samoa Joe, and New Japan did not like what they did. That burned bridges for years in one with New Japan. And then all of a sudden this year in 2024, you had Okada, the same guy that wasn't watching actually saying that he wasn't going to come back to wrestling and none of that. The same guy that they treated like crap was in a TNA ring, and all because of Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore that was the one who built the bridge back with New Japan. He worked with AEW. He was a smart guy because when he worked with AEW, it was his way of trying to see if he could get through the forbidden door with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He brought in the B guys like the Juice Robinson, the Kashidas, the David Finlay, all these guys that were not big talent name at that time. And then all of a sudden you saw the Jay Whites. You saw the Gorillas of Destiny coming in. You saw a Phantasmal coming in. You saw all these guys. So they got to Okada, who brought it in. Apparently, I guess, Scott D'Amore's head got too big for himself, I think. Because then he figured, well, you know what? I'm going to do and change the name from Impact to TNA again. The positive reaction or positive view they got from Hard to Kill this past January was big. I mean, even myself, I was like, wow, they're going to get competition to AEW, which not really, because AEW gets 700,000, 800,000 views a week. They were only getting like 70,000. They would go up to 100,000. But it was a sign that they may come out of nowhere and, and actually, give competition to AEW, because AEW is not going to get past WWE, that's for sure. But he figured, you know what? I got them to do the TNA, change the name, the brand. But what he didn't understand was that when Anthem bought TNA and whatnot, they wanted their brand, which is the owl they have, Anthem, to be on everything. They even had that owl on Anthem. If you guys go back in 2020, 2021, something like that, 2019, you see the Impact belt, they had that owl right in the middle of that belt because they wanted their brand on the Impact brand and whatnot. And also, what the one thing that I used to say all the time, and this was during where they had, guys like oh my God, I forgot his name. But anyway, they had TNA wrestlers that were leaving. Then he want to get them, they will come in and they will wrestle, and next thing you know, they were gone and whatnot. Because they were cheap, they don't want to pay nobody top dollars for them to stay for a long time. So if you see the revolving doors that has come through there through TNA since Anthem bought them, I mean, you had guys at one point, Ring of Honor was in there, guys from Ring of Honor, because Ring of Honor has closed down. They did the whole angle with Honor No More, which was a great angle. But then something happened, and that was dead. They made Moose the world champion, even though it was kind of a little late, but they had Moose as the world champion. At one point, they even had Kenny Omega as the world champion. They even had Christian come back, win the world title. He was doing everything. But I guess his head got too big. And, and to me, I think he went to the family, the owners of Anthem, and said, well, I want more money so we could have a better production. We could get guys in there, like that time you had the guys out there that were free agents. CM Punk was out there. You had Will Ospreay. He was trying to bring that type of people in, but he was asking for more money. And Anthem was like, no, we're not doing that. They were trying to cut the budget and whatnot. He went as far as to even get some financial help from a banking company to buy TNA. That's how desperate he wanted. That's how much he loves TNA. He wanted to buy TNA from Anthem. Anthem thought about it, and the next thing you know, they were like, nah, we're not doing this. Next thing you know, he got let go. I think there should be, honestly, I feel like there's more you know, and I don't know what it is, but I mean, if that's what's exactly happened, then like I said before, Anthem deserves to get whatever's coming to them, because you replace Scott D'Amore, a guy with the mind for wrestling, you know, go and actually, you know, let this man go and then replace him with somebody who's been with the company for 16 years, but does he know how to deal with wrestling? Probably not. He doesn't have no idea. I mean, the word was, oh yeah, he'll take suggestion. Usually when guys that take suggestion who got their bosses, they don't know shit. And they're going to make their own decision and it'll be stupid. I think right now TNA was about to take off. And now with this firing of Scott D'Amore is bad, because Moose said the only reason he didn't sign with WWE or AEW was because of Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore was a mentor, somebody that he could trust, somebody he loved, and he loved working for him. Now you're going to have people leaving. And you got guys like Tommy Dreamer being in there who's going to try to be a booker. If he try to be a booker, that you're going to see every match freaking hardcore bullshit. Trust me. And if Scott D'Amore now is out there, and like somebody said, Scott D'Amore and Ring of Honor and AEW's women's division agent or producer, that's what I would like to have. Because, I mean, Tony Khan's got to be looking at that like, I could bring this guy in and do something with the women's division. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. But, you know, it has to be done, because that will help AEW with the women's division. Because if you look at the TNA women's division, who you think did that? They were one of the best women's division. I think still one of the best women's division in wrestling right now. You know what I'm saying? Besides Stardom, but you know what I'm saying? Can't ask for anything better than that. You know what I'm saying? It's just dumb. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to see what happens and whatnot, because it's just dumb shit. I don't understand. Also, real quick, before I leave, there's more details on the reaction behind Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis and WWE lawsuit. I'm going to read this real quick. The Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis situation are not going away anytime. In addition to the lawsuit, federal investigations were revealed for the former WWE owner and his longtime crony Laurinaitis. Fightful Select was told earlier this week by a longtime employee that they personally expected McMahon to be eventually charged, because if the feds raided Vince and got his phone, they almost surely find something. Interesting. Fightful has spoken with a number of people within the industry, and at least one of them which claim they know more people are involved. They've been contacted by reporters, attorneys, and the like already, and I've indicated that if the additional names involved are identified, they'll do it themselves. So people are going to get shouted out. Okay, Fightful has spoken with multiple mainstream outlets that are looking to navigate the wrestling landscape and collect info, and we provided some of that to them upon request. A longtime employee of the WWE said that they don't even believe that this lawsuit was the worst of it, pointing to a higher settlement. Fightful can confirm that other potential victims have been identified and contacted by attorney and media outlets to see if they want to take action. Laurinaitis himself has turned on Vince McMahon, not surprised. And one person who referred to themselves as a longtime former friend of Laurinaitis, cold rats are jumping off a sinking ship. So, you know, I don't want to read the whole article, but let me tell you something. Shit is not looking good for Mr. McMahon, Laurinaitis, none of those people. I mean, here they said they still have this speculation over the source of the original Wall Street Journal leaks was something that could have been Grant, and others believe it was higher up in WWE. It was also known that the Wall Street Journal was able to contact names that many wouldn't have even been publicly aware worked for WWE. Listen, I'm going to say this real quick, and I'm going to end this. First of all, I believe Nick Khan has something to do with this. I think this guy, once McMahon brought him in, he figured, you know what, he's going to take care of things. He's going to be a great thing. Good financial, deal with the finance, deal with talent, whatever. I believe that Nick Khan knew all this bullshit was happening. And now he figured, oh yeah, let's convince Vince to sell the company. Vince sells the company. Next thing you know, Vince is out the door. Then all this stuff comes in. So tell me that he doesn't have nothing to do. Nick Khan looks like a little, the type of guy who's sneaky. But at the end of the day, McMahon's going to pay for everything he has done. Oh, allegedly he's done. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is stuff, and we're only in February. Think about that. We're only in February, and so much news has happened in the world of wrestling. So, you know what I'm saying? There's also word that Kazuchika Okada is going to sign with AEW. We can still, it's not confirmed, but we'll see what happened in March in Boston when supposedly Mercedes Moné is supposed to debut. So we'll see about that. So that is it for me today, guys. Once again, thank you very much for showing support and whatnot. At the end of the day, again, I appreciate everybody who comes in and check out my podcast. The reason I'm doing now behind the curtain episodes now because I had an issue with the audio. Spotify, for some untold reason, decided to delete my 5 years work of audio podcasting. Pissed me off, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with audio anymore. So, they're still trying to investigate. I might get everything back, but right now I figured, you know what? I could do this on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook, and get more views and get more people involved and whatnot. So it is what it is. So if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and also on TikTok. So that's it, and that's pretty much it. And also, you want to check out my podcast tour, which is tcwr.veryinkpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryinkpressive.com. I will appreciate it and whatnot. And again, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and whatnot. Hit that like button. That will help tremendously. So until then, guys, I appreciate
is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions